I'm Brad A. Strike, and I'll be presenting to you today the fiscal plan assignment for EDU 528 through William Woods. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the combination budget model. This model kind of brings money in from a lot of different areas. One area is through tax increases, tuition, and ticket sales. It encourages community involvement, has use of district money. So the district, gives the athletic program a set budget, and they're able to use that money. But they're also able to go out and fundraise and ask for donations and stuff like that. And they may look to outside sources for facility upgrades if the district is not able to provide enough money for those upgrades and stuff like that. So the combination budget kind of uses a whole lot of avenues to kind of gather money and support the athletic program. My philosophic consideration for choosing the combination budget model is really just because of its overall flexibility. The combination budget has a base budget set on basic needs for the program, and that money again comes from taxes, tuition, the athletic programs, revenue, and what the district allocates to the athletic program. And that base budget is pretty consistent from year to year. For instance, the soccer program I'm the head of, we pretty much get the same amount every year, and every year I know exactly how much is coming to me through that base budget, and I know exactly pretty much what I'm going to get every year. I get the same thing every year with that base budget. But knowing that if I need more, for instance, this year we bought new home uniforms as well as warm-ups. So I knew that I was going to need to do some fundraising to be able to purchase those, because the base budget would not give me enough money to get that. So with the combination budget model, I'm able to go out and look for outside sources and fundraise to help raise money for those uniforms and stuff. So it's just very flexible. Some teams, all they'll need every year just that base budget. They don't have a whole lot of things they need for their program. While as other programs, the base budget is great. It gets them the basic needs. All right, but every year they're going to need a little bit more because the program just needs that stuff. Some of the bigger programs like football and maybe even basketball, soccer, stuff like that. So just overall, just the flexibility of combination budget, I think fits best because you get that set money that you're always going to get. All right, but you can also go out and look for outside sources to raise money as well. So I just like the overall flexibility of it. Program objectives are to provide facilities, equipment that are safe and appealing to the student body and bring a sense of pride to the school and community. Provide coaching that will focus on the student athlete excelling outside and inside the classroom. Provide a student body with ample opportunities to build leadership and lifelong skills. And to provide a program that enhances the overall educational experience of the student body. A few things can be done to help control the cost of programs. One is to figure out the travel cost right up front. For rural school districts, a lot of those in Missouri and stuff, they're traveling long distances, and that's to away games no matter what. So that's kind of hard to control, kind of the distance of their trips. But for instance, here in St. Louis, most of our trips are pretty close. So being able to limit, long distant travel to, maybe one per season can be done and kind of help cut off, or kind of not cut off, but kind of hold that travel expense to a minimum. Another thing that can be done is equipment inventory for each program, which should be due at the end of each season. This doesn't necessarily just help the AD, but also helps the coaches. and coaching staff to see really what they have and what they will need for the upcoming season to replace, so they can kind of start getting an idea of what they need to be thinking about ordering, whether it be with the base budget that they're given or with an outsourced fund. The budget requests for basic needs and wish list items due by a set date, usually a month or so before school ends. This just gives the AD time to look it over and really see the basic needs for each program and what's on each program's wish list. And going on, base budget given to each program, the wish list items determined on monies available in the athletic budgets and necessities. So, with that budget request given, the AD can look over it and see, the big wish list items, and gives the AD time to, look that over and see, if they're going to be able to help out by, maybe a wish list item for a program with some money that they have as well, or are they going to have to talk to the program and say, hey, I can only give you the base budget this year. You're really going to have to go out and fundraise if you want your wish list items. If they are able to help out with the wish list item, maybe they can kind of help spread that out a little bit. Like an example I have here is one year they might buy football something on their wish list item. The next year they might help out basketball or baseball or softball or soccer. Kind of spread that out. Don't always just give the football team the big wish list item, but kind of help spread that out evenly throughout all the programs. But outside funding will be the main contributor to wish list items again, just because the district can only give so much money to the athletic program, and they spread that out as much as they can and give programs what they need. But some programs, like I said, just need more than that, so they have to go out there and fundraise to kind of help do that. So. All right, so handling of donations, community financial support monies. All donations and money raised must be brought to the attention of the AD, who then must approve the donations and make proper documentation according to district policies. This just keeps the AD in the loop. Again, communication is always important, so you need to let the AD know when you're getting ready to run a fundraiser. And a lot of districts even require that. I know the district I am, if we're getting ready to run a fundraiser, we have to fill out a simple little form, so just on file. But yeah, we have to definitely let them know. Once approved by the AD, donation monies can be given to the athletic department, who will place money in the appropriate account. If program has their own booster, monies can be given to the appropriate person, who will place money in an appropriate account. And if paying with an app or by check, the money should be directed/made out to either the athletic department or the team's booster. No money should be directed toward a specific student, coach, parent, or any other direct person. Again, this is just kind of just to kind of watch out for that, and want to make sure that we get the money in the right spot. I know there's been times where fundraisers have been held, and the money has been written to a specific person, and then that money never makes it to the actual team or the program. So definitely want to make sure that when you're doing a fundraiser, it gets in the hands of the right people to be placed in the appropriate account, and definitely want to make sure those checks or apps, if you're using an app these days, want to make sure that those are directed towards the school or the actual booster, not to the actual student athlete or person or parent. That's a great way to kind of get that money lost, and definitely don't want that. I want the money going to the appropriate spot. Fundraisers must be approved by AD, and proper paperwork must be filed out prior to running fundraisers. Kind of talked about that a little bit. And donations given directly to the athletic program will be spent on what the AD and building administrators feel impacts the most students at the time. If a donation is made to no specific sport, but just given to the athletic program, the AD can talk with the building administrators, and they can kind of discuss on where that money needs to be spent. They can decide whether they want to spread it out amongst everybody, or if there's a big ticket item that kind of benefits multiple programs, they can do something like that too. But yeah. So philosophy for seeking outside funding. So in the combination budget, with the base budget being set for each program amounting to enough to purchase the basic needs, outside funding is encouraged to help fund those programs who need more than just the base budget. When seeking outside funding, it should be done in a way that represents the team, athletic program, school district, and community in a respectful way. Definitely want to be respectful. You're representing everybody. So you definitely want to show respect and good manners when you're out there fundraising. Outside funding should be sought after to help enhance the overall experience and success for the student athletes. We don't want every team going out there just to fundraise just because we can. There ought to be a purpose behind it. So we want to make sure that we're doing it and the purpose should be to enhance the overall experience and success for student athletes. And all district fundraising and donation policies and procedures must be followed when seeking outsourced funding. Some fundraising guidelines. Of course, we talked about earlier. You want to be respectful when you're doing fundraisers. You don't want to do more than 2 fundraisers a year, I think. In some communities, you might only want to do 1. But you want to make sure you're respecting the community as well. So I think 2 fundraisers at most should be the limit. Money must go to appropriate program account. No money should be kept for personal use. And all fundraisers need to be approved by the AD. And proper paperwork must be filled out prior to fundraiser taking place. All right, let's talk about program expansion. You always want to be looking for growing trends, whether it's in your area or throughout the United States or in your just particular state. Keep an eye out for what trends are going on and what seems to be growing and taking hold of real quick. You want to talk to surrounding schools to see what they have or what they might be thinking about adding. If a sport or program is trending upwards, start planning a few years out so you can budget for that. If for instance, this past year, girls wrestling took hold and really started going in a lot of schools in the state picked up girls wrestling. So, a lot of schools have been planning for that a few years down the road to kind of get that budget going. So you need to start planning, a couple of years, and that just comes with communicating with other ADs and other schools. You want to put a committee together to help research potential program expansion. When I worked at my previous school, I was actually part of the program expansion. We were looking at adding middle school softball and wrestling at that time, and that was about 5 years ago when I was there. So they again saw that wrestling was coming in, it was really taking hold, and so they were trying to add some middle school stuff, and they were planning way out in advance for that. Start communicating with the community early to get a feeling for the support of the program expansion, and start putting together a list of early outside funding options to help program expansion. Because like I said, a lot of times districts don't have the ability to kind of help fund that money to get those programs up and starting, because some of those programs take a lot of money. So you can start early, start looking around and start putting a list together of businesses and corporations that will be willing to help support the growth of the program.